So you come back from a heavy session in the gym, you pop into the shower, and the first thing that comes to your head when you're out is, of course, which antiperspirant product should I use? Should I go for a antiperspirant roll-on? Should I go for a stick? Or should I go for a spray? This is a question that lots of people around the world have asked themselves for many, many decades. And of course, the things you should be considering when buying these products are things like, which is going to give me the most benefit and which is going to produce the least toxicity. Let's start off with what deodorants are and how they differ from antiperspirants. So deodorants are products that we put on our underarms, let's say, things that look exactly the same as antiperspirants, but they're designed to just kill off the bacteria that produce the smell. Those bacteria live off of the substances that are produced by our sweat glands. It's not the water, it's the substances that are dissolved in the water, and they use that to produce chemicals that are byproducts of their metabolism, and unfortunately, that's what makes us smell bad. It's not just the natural oils that are produced by our body, but it's mainly the chemicals that are produced by bacteria that make us smell bad. So, of course, by killing off those bacteria, we can still sweat, but we don't have to smell bad. And antiperspirants take a step further. What they do is they stop us from sweating in the first place. Now, they might also have those antimicrobial compounds in them, but the way they work mainly is by stopping our sweat glands from sweating. So the way they do that is, if you look on any bottle of an antiperspirant, you will notice one of the first ingredients, if not the first, then you're going to see it as probably the second or third ingredient, will be something that sounds like aluminium, zirconium tetrachlorohydrix, or other forms of aluminium. And what they do is that they create little particles that come out of the product and that deposit inside of our sweat gland, and they stop us from sweating because of, well, physically blocking those sweat glands from releasing the water that they're trying to release. So by doing that in strategic locations like the underarms, you stop yourself from sweating. Most of the health concerns, or at least the direct health concerns that we can see immediately, like irritation and sensitization, they don't usually happen because of these pore blocking compounds. They happen because of other things like fragrances. So the fragrance is there not to do any deodorant thing or to do any antiperspirant thing. It's not there to stop you from sweating or to stop you from smelling bad necessarily. It's just there to mask whatever odor you have with something that's more pleasant, or something that a consumer might think is more pleasant. So that fragrance really doesn't do anything that's majorly beneficial. And of course, different products will smell very differently, and this is because the fragrance compounds that are in them are very different. And this is also the reason why you may see things like irritation and allergies with certain products, but not with other products. Now, there are of course some very common fragrance compounds going into these products, and these are things you may want to keep in mind if you are allergic to any specific compound that goes into a product. If you've applied a spray or a roll-on or anything and you've gotten an allergy to that product, then there may be something in the list of ingredients that you're allergic to. Most of the times it will be something like a fragrance, so you may want to keep that in mind, and you may want to do some experimentation to find out what exactly it is. Try and use things that have no fragrances if you're very concerned about irritation and allergies. Now, all three of these products work in very different ways. If we pick a roll-on and we look at the first ingredient that's in the list of ingredients, you've got aqua. So aqua is water, and according to the EU legislation that dictates the way these ingredient lists are written, it means that aqua is present in the most abundant quantity in this product. That means it's a water-based product, and water is quite easily absorbed through the skin. So when the skin does try and absorb that water, or doesn't try to, it just absorbs it anyway, you're most likely going to be also absorbing the things that are dissolved, the small molecules that are dissolved in that water through your skin, and a lot of it can potentially go into your bloodstream. And that's what eventually causes some toxicity concerns, of course. These are things that a toxicologist will look for when assessing for these products. Now, when you're looking at these stick products, you will find that the first ingredient is usually a polymer. This one's got cyclopentasiloxane. And what that means is when you put it on, you'll find that there's some soapy feeling of some waxy material that doesn't really want to get into your skin. It just sticks on the surface of your skin And when you put it on, you'll see white marks, of course. They'll stay there. If you're looking at a certain product, it might stay there for 24 hours. It won't go away. So it might last longer. Perhaps the reason is because it doesn't get into your skin as readily as the roll-on product. Now, spray products are quite different from the other two types because they have aerosols in them. And this is what lets the product come out of the bottle when you press the button, and it's this mixture of butane, isobutane, and propane that lets that product come out of the bottle in a very strong force and go straight onto your skin. Now, the issue with this product is that you're also creating a cloud of material around your head region potentially, and you're breathing this material in. How much you're breathing in really depends on how you use your product, but if you're really concerned about the respiratory issues or the impacts in the longer term, then most likely you want to use the other two types of products. Because you're delivering them directly to your skin, at least the part of skin that needs an antiperspirant or a deodorant product, you don't get those issues that you do with sprays in terms of inhaling it and then coughing if that's an issue that you face, or having long-term side effects from things that are not supposed to be inhaled, especially if you use other sprays like hairsprays, other products that have these aerosols as well in them. All of these things add up, and companies don't necessarily assess for you using all of these products together in a single day. If you're a hairdresser, for example, you probably go through lots of aerosols, and all of these things do add up, and they can potentially cause adverse reactions, adverse health effects in the longer term. So that's something you should definitely keep in mind when choosing your products. I personally don't use aerosols as much as I do the other two types of products, and it's because of the risk profile that I mentioned. I don't want to be inhaling things unnecessarily. I'm not sweating from my lungs, so there's really no need to be inhaling this sort of stuff inside of my lungs. And lung health is quite important, especially if you're living in a polluted area, or especially if you're inhaling other aerosols like this. Then I would personally stay away from aerosols as much as possible. I would try and limit my exposure to dermal as much as possible and avoid respiratory exposure. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching this episode. Make sure you hit the like button and let me know in the comment section below if there's any other type of product you'd like me to review. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time.